Man, you sure have grown up.
So creepy, Robert. Give me the chills.
Oh, did you want me to say that, creepy? Hello, I'm Robert. And my co-host,
Jackie.
What are we going to review tonight, Jackie?
We are going to review Silent House from 2011. Cute girl trapped in a very creepy house.
Yeah, it's a creepy house. It stars Elizabeth Olsen. She's the Scarlet Witch from the MCU movies, from Avengers Endgame and all the other Avenger films. She's fantastic. She's 31 now. This was made about 10 years ago. She was 21 when this was filmed. And I believe it's her first feature film.
Interesting.
It's a creepy sort of what's going on in the house kind of movie. There's no like monsters or anything, but I guess you're never quite sure of that. You're never quite sure that the bad guy's not going to pop out. So it's more, in my opinion, of a psychological drama or a thriller as opposed to a horror movie. Would you agree?
I would.
Were you scared?
I was on my toes the entire time.
As a young lady yourself,
Yeah,
if you were trapped in a house and there were strange things going on, would you be scared?
A bit. I would probably be a bit scared. I probably wouldn't stay in the house. I would probably run.
Cinematically, I enjoyed this film because it's filmed like it's a one take, one shot, one like hour and a half long shot. And it only got like 43% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's better than that. It's better than a 43% rating. But as a filmmaker and critic myself, I loved it because of the cinematography. So they make it look like it's a one take, one shot for almost an hour and a half. The cuts are very, very well hidden. It acts like it's a real time following the girl through the house. Yeah, it takes a lot to scare Robert. But what I liked about it, it's minimalistic. There's very few cast members. How many people?
There was maybe 5 cast members?
Something like that. Who
there
was that?
Sarah, her dad, John.
Yep.
The uncle.
Uncle Peter.
And the weird boy and the weird girl. And Sophia.
Sophia, the friend that visits at one point and is a weird dude. They actually, in the script, you wouldn't know this from the movie, but the script, he's called the stalking man. And then the little girl, I don't know if she has a name. There's Uncle Peter, and that's what I like to call my junk, Uncle Peter. I don't do it all the time, sometimes. So this movie is directed by a co-directing team, but this was a little bit of an experimental film for them.
How do you think they did?
Oh, I think it was outstanding. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm not going to rate it right now, but it's worth it. Even if you the horror aspect aside, it's good from a cinematographic point of view. And the little girl, not sure how old she was. She was under 10 when this was filmed. She'd be an adult now. Haley Murphy. She went on to act in other things. She was on I think she was on an episode of Jessica Jones on Netflix. I'm on Jessica Jones.
Are you?
Yeah, I worked Jessica Jones repeatedly. Yeah.
I didn't see you on any of the episodes.
Yeah, well, I'm best in small doses. That's what everyone tells me.
Yeah.
I found it to be almost like a found footage. I mean, it's a third-person point of view. Like there's no like cameraman that's part of the action, at least. But they filmed it. Like I said, it's a faux single take movie. But they filmed it. Usually their takes were about 12 to 15 minutes long. That's a long take. It's not dialogue heavy. It's more like, Elizabeth Olsen sees the stalking man down at the end of the hallway, and she goes, and she hides, So there's not, where she's going, Dad, where are you, Dad? So, it's not like memory intensive for remembering lines, but there's blocking. It's very complicated. She's moving through the house.
There's a lot of movement. I did notice that in the film.
Yeah, it's a big house. I don't know how many bedrooms it is. It's probably like 6 bedrooms, a couple bathrooms, basement. Basement's creepy.
The whole house was just creepy. The whole thing gave me the creeps.
Yeah, they actually filmed it in my house. No, I'm kidding. So they filmed it in New York State, not too far out of the city. Obviously, it's sort of in the countryside because it's like an isolated house, but it's on the coast. The house that they filmed it in, I think they acquired the house from whoever. They were just going to demolish the house, and the filmmaker said, "Hey, we want to shoot something here." But do you know why it was so difficult to shoot at that location? There's a couple reasons.
Why?
Well, one is it's under one of the busiest flight paths of LaGuardia Airport. So you want to be isolated. You don't want to hear a jet plane.
And what else was?
So it's a real house. It's a real old, fallen apart house, and it's wood floors throughout. But there's a camera crew. It's really one guy with a Steadicam. But then there's a sound guy, who's got to run with a boom mic behind the camera guy, and there's probably the script supervisor running behind him. So there's got to be at least 3 people following Elizabeth Olsen around. And, wooden floors. There's no furniture in the house to absorb the sound. There's no rugs or anything. Because the plot is they're moving out of the house. It's a summer place, and they're going to sell it to somebody. So they're moving all their crap out, and they're almost done. So it's empty. It's a big empty house. It's like a friggin' echo chamber. It's noisy as hell, right?
I thought it was a little bit noisy.
They tried like taping like sponges and padding to the cameraman's feet and all that so they wouldn't make a noise, but it just didn't work. We have a wooden floor in the studio, so just everybody at home, just listen while I take one stupid little step on the wooden floor. You see how loud it is.
Stop it!
Okay, I'll take this step now. So a lot of the budget of this movie was they hired
went to sponges?
Not the sponges.
Is that
no,
what you're saying?
the sponges didn't work. Much like that birth control sponge that they invented a couple decades ago. It doesn't work. So they used a very sophisticated software and equipment and highly specialized technicians, and they had monkeys with tinfoil hats pushing some buttons and stuff, and they erased the footsteps and the creaking and all that except for Elizabeth's from the soundtrack. They spent a lot of money cleaning up the sound. Yeah, we don't have a lot of money to spend on stuff.
There will be plenty of sound here.
Yeah, hear all kinds of noises.
So there actually weren't too many goofs in this movie.
No.
Would you agree?
I agree. Yes.
Did you notice that on her shirt the blood stains moved a bit?
Yes. They did move around from it's really one scene, but yeah, I saw them move around.
When they dropped the lantern, did you notice his foot, the cameraman's foot?
I read about that beforehand. I didn't notice it in
Right.
in
When
the
you
movie.
watch it.
I didn't notice it
quick.
watching it.
It's quick. It's only a
Did
few
you see
frames.
it?
I saw it quick. But it wasn't enough for me to really...
What kind of shoe is he wearing?
Oh, let me see. I think it was...
You just make shit up because I wouldn't know. I didn't see.
Okay. He was wearing a tennis shoe.
Yeah. Because it's quiet.
Tennis shoes are quiet.
Yeah. What? Somebody chase a girl through the house? Yeah. Happens on my street almost every night.
Why is that?
I don't know. They haven't caught the guy. Apparently there's a guy who breaks into the ladies' houses on my street and follows them around.
But I wonder what type of hair he has.
It's black? Like it's different every time.
Every time?
So it's probably a bunch of guys. Probably. Because one time a guy is be blonde, the other time they have a redhead, and sometimes the guy's bald. No one knows who he is. It's scary.
Suspicious.
I'm scared for my own life.
You're scared someone's going to chase you into a house, Robert?
In my dreams. I did have a dream once where I was a giant hot dog chasing another hot dog through the Lincoln Tunnel. What do you suppose that means? Maybe everybody isn't like who they appear to be, or shall we say, maybe she's imagining some things. And some of those things might be, we'll call them memories from childhood.
Yes, she has these sort of flashbacks.
Yes and no. I don't want to spoil the film, but it gets really, I said a psychological thriller earlier. It gets really psychological in like the last half hour or so. There's not a lot of great lines in this movie. There's a couple.
There's one. What about, come on, don't be shy. What about that one?
Sarah says that. So, so there's only one weapon in the house. What is that weapon?
Sledgehammer.
You know what this thing is?
That?
Yeah, what is it?
It's a Polaroid.
Yeah, I didn't know that your generation knew what a Polaroid camera was.
Can you take selfies with Polaroids?
You can. It's very awkward. I can certainly take a selfie like this, but I've found from experience I cannot include both my face and my waist area in. My arms aren't long enough.
You need a selfie stick.
Yeah.
A Polaroid selfie stick.
I don't know how you do that. But anyway, the Polaroid camera features prominently in the plot. Well, maybe not prominently, but it's in the plot, and you realize later maybe it's important. The uncle or the dad takes a picture of her, and it like triggers something. I think it's triggering childhood repressed memories. Yeah.
Super.
But this is actually a working camera. Do you mind if I take a couple Polaroids of you? Yeah. What could it hurt? Smile, baby.
Robert.
Is something sticking out the front? No, it's all zipped up. This has to develop though.
Oh.
Now you take one of me.
Robert, I don't really want to take a photo of you, Robert.
Please, go ahead. I need more for
your collection.
Wall. We'll put these aside and let them develop. I think it's a 4 pumpkin out of 5 movie.
I wouldn't agree.
Why not?
No, you need to put one back.
You put one back.
No, I have 2. You put one back.
Should we call it a 3.5 pumpkins then? Do we do an average?
Do you have a half pumpkin?
I do, but it's backstage. Let's just call it a 4 pumpkin movie.
I guess, Robert.
Out of 5.
4 pumpkins it is.